So as we gather on the first Sunday of Christmas, like I said to the kids, the world around us has already moved on. Decorations begin to come down, schedules fill back up, the aisles in the stores are filled with Valentine's Day decor and gift items, neatly lined up where Christmas merchandise was just a few days ago. Even like New Year's Eve glasses and cups are also on discount because the sell-by date is almost here. Advertisements shift our attention to what comes next. In a world that celebrates turning the page on a new year, we have a tendency to clean house, take out the old and bring in the new. Now, if you talk to historians, they tell about a time when the Christmas season wasn't 12 days, it was longer. It was actually around 40 days long, extending to a time that's called Candlemas, or the presentation of the child Jesus in early February. The church as a whole today still celebrates 12 days of Christmas, and it is fair to ask, why do we do this? Outside of that long song and the golden rings in the middle of it, what is the point? We remain here in Christmas, not because we are sentimental, but because something here that still needs time to unfold. There's something here that needs that time. Christmas is not simply the celebration of a birth, it is the proclamation that God gives meaning to the world by entering it. The opening of the Gospel of John does not begin with shepherds or angels or a manger. It begins before all of that, before Bethlehem, before creation itself. John speaks of the Word present in the beginning, shaping all that exists, holding together light and life, order and purpose. This word is not just sound or speech, but meaning itself. And then John tells us something astonishing, very astonishing. This word becomes flesh and dwells among us. That is the heart of Christmas. That is the heart of Christmas. Because God does not remain distant or abstract or theoretical. God does not simply offer explanations from afar. God enters the human story, its beauty and its pain, its joy and its confusion. And God lives within it. Meaning is no longer something we must chase or construct on our own. Meaning comes to us. This idea would not have been unknown to the people of Israel. The prophet Isaiah speaks of joy that is worn like clothing, of identity shaped not by scarcity or fear, but by God's delight. God's people are named, and they're claimed, and they're seen. They're not invisible. They are not forgotten. Their lives matter because God has chosen to be involved in them. But we know how easily meaning can feel fragile. It can feel like it could break at any time. Many of us live in a world where purpose feels unclear, where our worth is often measured by productivity or success or certainty. We are told explicitly or implicitly that we must define ourselves, we must justify ourselves, and we must prove ourselves. And in that context, Christmas offers something quietly radical. Quietly radical. And that is the claim that our meaning begins not with what we do, but with who God chooses to be for us. Not what we do, but who God chooses to be for us. And that's where I think imagination matters. Imagination is the capacity to see beyond what is immediately obvious. It allows us to glimpse meaning where the world only sees routine. It allows us to trust that God is at work even when circumstances are ordinary, or they're confusing, or they're incomplete. Jesus himself lived out this holy imagination. Raised with the poetry of the Psalms and the promises of Isaiah, he learned to see God's presence in everyday life, in seeds and soil, in bread and fish, in lost coins and in wandering sheep. He spoke in stories not to obscure meaning, but to make it accessible, to make it understandable. He took the ancient words of faith and made them live again among real people with real struggles. That choice tells us something important about our own lives. If God enters the world this way, then no human life is insignificant. No moment is beyond God's concern. No struggle is unseen. Meaning is not reserved for the powerful or the successful or the certain. Meaning lives among us, among all of us, in homes and workplaces, in questions and in doubts, in quiet acts of kindness that rarely make headlines. Christmas invites us to stay with these truths longer than we might be comfortable doing. It invites us to resist the running to the next thing, to dwell instead of hurry, to listen instead of consume. It asks us to trust that meaning does not need to be forced or finalized. Sometimes meaning is received slowly, like light increasing at dawn. Living into Christmas means allowing the Word, who dwells among us, to continue shaping how we see the world and one another. It means paying attention to where grace shows up unexpectedly. It means letting our lives reflect the same love that chose nearness over distance. So as this Christmas season continues, the invitation is simple. The invitation is simple, but it's not easy. It really is not easy. So the invitation is to slow down. The invitation is to notice. The invitation is to trust that God is still at work and still speaking meaning into our lives. The invitation is to help others who need help and to allow others to help us when we need help. The word that shaped creation has not withdrawn. The light that came into the world still shines. And that word continues to dwell among us, not just in ancient stories, but the lives we are living now, the lives that each one of us are living now. And may we live as a people who believe that meaning has come near, that God has come near. And may we carry Christmas with us, not as a memory, but as a way of being. And may we trust that God, who entered the world in love, continues to give meaning to our lives, today and always. Amen.